Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Today, we have an exceptional guest with us, Ignatius Raphael, the deep sleep and longevity coach. Ignatius, thank you so much for joining us, giving us your time today. We are grateful for that. So, now let's dive right in. Can you tell us something? Can you tell our audience a bit about your background and what led you to focus on sleep and longevity?
Okay, that's a long story. Okay. Uh, my background, to just put it in a nutshell, I've been in business for most of my life. And a few years before COVID, I got into business consulting, helping small and medium businesses to scale. So grow two times, five times, and so on. So in this process of business consulting, I work deeply with them, with the top management, typically the owners, and I found that they're really hardworking lot. And they work literally 24 by 7 when you're trying to grow your business, to scale it up. And just around then, COVID hit, and we all were under lockdown. Within a month or so of COVID hitting, a friend of mine who's less than 40 years old, I mean, he was 2 weeks to his 40th birthday, he passed away suddenly. I got a message around 11 o'clock that he just died suddenly. And he was my Rotary Club president at that time. And very dynamic guy. We had lots of hopes for his future in terms of growing to governor, RTI president, and so on. So, and he does a lot of charity work. He has a lovely family, two children, and his business was doing phenomenally well. He had a US office, he was in IT, had a US office, India office, and so on. So, but I mean, the reason for death was not COVID. He did not contract COVID. We had doctors in our club. We took them to the hospital to check whether it was COVID which killed him, and found that the it was not COVID. He just died. He woke up that morning around 6. He was not feeling well, so he went back to sleep. By 10:30, he was normal. And this guy is a fitness freak. He runs marathons. He's very conscious about his health. He doesn't drink. He doesn't have bad habits. And we thought this was a freak accident until 2 weeks later, when a friend's nephew from an interior town, Tirunelveli, I stay in Chennai, calls up and says, Anna, how do you know this person? So I said, he's my Rotary president, neighbor. We go for runs together, good friend of mine. And he said he was my senior in school and he was a school leader. He was top in academics, debate champion, everything. I mean, everything he excelled. So apparently he was excelling even from that time. But he gave me just one statement, one sentence, which triggered a complete shift in my life and made me a deep sleep and longevity coach. He said, this guy used to work late at night because he'll try to catch up and wake up early for his athletics training. And something, it was a light bulb moment where I realized, my God, he's been able to excel so much because he put so many hours into perfecting whatever he was working on. This is great orator. I mean, he was just good at everything. I mean, there are people like that, right? So, and a fantastic human being. So that statement made me realize that that is the key. That is what is felling people at an early age. And within a few days, I announced I'm going to become a deep sleep coach. I have training. I've been trained as a counselor before. So CBT training, I'm very familiar with. We work with individuals, teams, and organizations, people development. So I realized that this is my calling. And I just announced a batch. Within 2 months, we started the batch. In that time, I crammed, it was lockdown. So literally like 18, 20 hours, I read up all research papers on this, understood what was required, created a course, and from then on, my life has gone in a completely different trajectory. So now I work with individuals, teams, and organizations to help them take charge of their sleep, take charge of their life, and take charge of their well being, which is like mental, physical, emotional, all of it. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. That was quite an inspiring story. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, can you shed some more light on deep sleep program and what makes it unique compared to other sleep improvement programs?
So as I said, I started it off as a straight away as a 21-day challenge. At that time, in COVID time, everybody was ready to come online for challenges. And so it was a 21-day sleep challenge. And in that program, I mean, the core of it is basically CBT, that is cognitive behavioral training. We all train ourselves unknowingly into habits that we follow daily, which we don't even realize the consequences of these habits. And these habits are what have caused us to have lack of sleep, poor health, poor attention span. I mean, you look at your total well-being. If you look at those 8 areas of your life, which is basically physical, mental, emotional, you could look at even financial, because the way you take decisions get affected by the clarity in your head, right? So financial, career, social, learning and development, and spiritual, all 8 areas, it's one ecosystem, right? It's all within us. And each are triggered by different belief systems, different thoughts, different words and actions, which follow from belief, thoughts, words, and actions. So when you address it at core, which is belief system, and then you work on your thoughts, and then you work on your words, then your actions and results automatically come into play. And so CBT is basically working with you, with a person, to find what has led them to do what they're doing now. And then look at what shifts are required to where they want to be. If they want to take charge of their health, then there are ways to do it. But if they want to let go and be like that, then there are ways to do it also, which is what we're currently doing. So we look at helping them make their right choices. They have a free will, they have a free choice. But which are they choosing? Do they know the consequences of that? And that's the core of what we work with. And so at that time, I started a 21-day challenge. Now it works on a 5-day boot camp. It's all online. And then a 21-day challenge. And then we go into a longer program. So that's that's a core of what I have been doing and currently got into. Yeah.
That sounds comprehensive, and many people struggle with sleep issues due to various reasons. So, can you share some of the most common sleep problems your clients face and how your program specifically addresses these issues?
All of them, that will be a program by itself. But yeah, at the core of it would be inability to fall asleep
Yeah.
within 20, 30 minutes of you going to bed. So that is, onset insomnia, it's called. That is
Mm.
getting into sleep, you're unable to sleep. That is one.
Mm.
Two is maintaining the sleep through the night. Some people have problem with that. They wake up in
Yeah.
the morning and then they struggle to get back to sleep.
Yeah.
Um, Third would be they wake up in the morning, but they don't feel rested. They're still groggy and they're not alert through the day.
I think that's my problem.
Okay, Bhavita. Yeah, so the sleep satisfaction basically. So the satisfaction wasn't good because your body
Yeah.
needs sleep. It's like recharging your mobile phone or your electric car,
Yeah.
any appliance, right? You need to recharge them. And sleep is a God-given phase in your day where you can do it.
Okay.
So that those are the three most common problems. Others could be like, you have a restless leg syndrome, you have dreams which trouble you. I mean, there are a whole host of problems, really. Snoring, sleep apnea. So problems can be due to medications you're taking, could be due to certain physiological conditions you have, like let's say more fat in the throat could cause snoring, or low, muscle tensile strength. I mean, it's not strong enough at night to stay up, to prevent snoring. So it could be sometimes physiological, sometimes because of medicines you're taking, but most times because of lifestyle choices we make.
So, what kind of techniques you teach them to tackle all these problems?
Yeah, each of them. So that's quite a large thing. So uh, I my work could best be described in lifestyle choices. So if it is to do with the medical issue, then I connect them with a doctor so that they can get it done, because it needs to be done with the right specific professional assistance. So where it's behavioral related, I can help fully, and where it is, otherwise they need a certain expert or specialist help, then we can connect them to that.
Okay, okay. So for a person like me, I would ask, about my issues, like what I face when I sleep. So same with me is that I sleep at 11 and I get up at 5:30 and I go for my yoga and all. And then I come back and then I need to sleep again just to feel more refreshed and, energetic for my day. If I
Mm.
don't sleep, I feel like, okay, I don't have energy. I need to sleep for at least 1 hour.
So you wake
So
with an alarm, is it?
yes, I wake up with an
Yeah,
alarm.
that's what.
Most of the days I wake up when I sleep early. When I sleep at 10, then I wake up at 3:30 without an alarm.
Okay. So you
Yes,
sleep for 5.5 or 6 hours
five
after.
and a half hours. But
Yeah.
then still I have this thing going at the back of my mind. No, I need more sleep. I need more sleep.
Why is that, Bhavita? Because assume you woke up by yourself, okay, and you feel fresh.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So what makes you think that you need more sleep if you're waking up fresh? If you're
But
not
then,
waking up
I
fresh,
just slept for 5.5 hours and I need 8 hours of
so
sleep. So I should go back to sleep again.
injected belief system. So there is no such thing as 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours. It's
Okay.
average. It's
Uh-huh.
average. Okay. It doesn't mean
Okay.
that there are some people with a genetic condition, with a gene, which permits them to sleep for 4 hours a night and they're perfectly fine. So if and some people need 9 hours, but so it's different for each person. You have to listen to your body, not your mind. Your
Yeah.
mind has a lot of injected belief systems from the outside, which
Yeah.
kind of tends to interfere with how your body is functioning.
Hmm.
Right, so you have to become friends with your body. You should understand what messages is giving you and follow that. So, okay, anyway, coming back to your specific condition of, let's say you feel better if you've had 1 hour sleep after you've done your yoga and exercise and so on. My suggestion will be you do a 15-minute yoga nidra. And yoga nidra meditation you're familiar with, listen to a track in 15 minutes. So you're not sleeping, but at the same time, you feel fully rested and it's equal to 1.5 hours sleep. One yoga nidra of 15-20 minutes will give you a 1.5 hour sleep ka benefit.
Oh, really? And where I can learn this?
Sorry?
And where can I learn this yoga nidra from you?
Yeah, I share it in my courses as a track, and but it's available freely in YouTube. Swami Satyananda. If you follow that tradition, they are the school of Bidar, no yoga school of Bidar. They really have they rediscovered it after thousands of years, and they propagate it. It's there. You can just
Wow.
Google it, Yoga
It will
Nidra.
be great, sir, if you can share the link with us, and we can also put it below the podcast so many people can benefit from it.
Yeah. The 15-minute yoga nidra where you lie down and they just guided meditation where you relax each part of your body. And at the end of it, you wake up feeling fully refreshed. So,
Yes. Thank you so much,
most
sir,
welcome.
for your advice. I would definitely incorporate that in my routine. Now, my next question to you is, mm, stress and busy lifestyle, they are obviously common culprits of poor sleep. And nowadays, we have Netflix, so many OTT platforms, and we like, watching them before we go off to sleep. So it
Mm.
definitely hinders our sleep quality, right? So what advice would you give on that? How does your program help individuals manage these aspects to
Okay.
improve their sleep quality?
Stress, too much thoughts. Is that the question? Stress is
My
just because of.
question is that we have too many distractions, you know?
Okay, there are multiple questions here. So if
Yeah.
there's environmental distractions, that's too much light, too much noise, that can be handled separately. But
Okay.
if it is typically stress is because there is something worrying you inside you and gnawing away at you. Your thoughts, repetitive thoughts, which focuses on the negative outcome of anticipated events, typically,
Hmm.
right? Or something which happened in the past, which you're hurt and you're not forgiven, and you're so each have to be handled differently. So if it is some
Okay.
past hurt, now that needs to be let go using forgiveness techniques, right? So you let go of your past. And if you're worried about the future, then how to balance your mind and take charge of what you can take charge of and let go of what you cannot take charge of and know the difference, basically, the serenity prayer, if you know that. So once you know what you can do and what you cannot do, and it depends on other people's outcome, you learn to deal with anticipated outcomes better. You look more positively at it rather than negatively at it, right, Bhavita?
Yes,
So
sir.
stress, there are multiple ways which we teach them how to, overcome them. So in a group class, typically you might learn things which are outside what you're experiencing. But in a one-to-one session, you can go deeper into a specific area where people are grappling with or
Struggling.
getting, yeah.
So you have a diverse background, including roles in business and wellness. So how has this different experiences contributed to the development and success of your deep sleep program?
Yeah, so I think it's a culmination of my life work, actually, this particular program. So this is something I know I will do for the rest of my life. I've done many things earlier, been in printing, publishing, content management, branding, business consulting, the works. I mean, all of this is part of work. But other than work, I've done voluntary work in a suicide prevention line, which is where I
Wow.
learned counseling at the beginning and became a trainer there too. And
Hmm.
so I've learned to understand mental conditions, emotional conditions, which cripple people,
Hmm.
and make them prisoners and how they can break out of it and so on.
So one of the condition is that you would definitely agree with me is when you are going through a very tough time and it's very difficult for you to, to have that deep sleep or to
Hmm.
even sleep. You have so much of anxiety, or maybe you are going through a divorce or a rough patch
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
life, or you're going through financial crisis. So you have these anxiety pangs
yeah,
because at some point of time, I've also gone through this.
correct.
And the thing that has worked for me is connecting myself with my higher power. So I used to do a lot of, so I used to do a lot of part. I'm a Sardharni. So I
Okay.
used to, they say Naam Simran. So I used to do a lot of Naam Simran and then I used to, fall asleep. So I still remember that gave me a lot of power because I remember I think it was 12:30 p.m. I was just praying. I was like, I want to sleep.
Yeah.
It'll be very difficult for me to get out of it if I can't have these 8 or 9 hours of sleep. So please help me sleeping. So I think I started doing my Naam Simran and in I think 10 minutes I slept. At that time I realized that okay, there's somebody around there. There's a lot of power in
Those
spirituality.
who have, unyielding faith in a higher power, in
Yeah.
God, divinity, whatever you have complete faith in, typically they would not have as much stress and as much insomnia as other people do because they surrender to that higher power. If you have
Yeah.
the ability to surrender to a higher power,
Yeah.
then you will definitely be able to get your sleep because the burdens you're not carrying anymore. Most of us end up carrying the whole world's problems on our head as though
Yeah.
we are the ones lifting it and solving it and making it okay for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, we just have to surrender that to the divine and say, like, that's your job. I'll do my job, you do your job, type of thing.
Hmm.
That that itself will work. So prayer is a very powerful way of
Hmm.
connecting and letting go of.
Because I come from a family where both of my parents they struggle with sleep.
Hmm.
My mom, She can't, my dad can't sleep without sleeping pills. And my mom also has a very disturbed sleep pattern. It's not because of any issue that they're going through, it's just their pattern. I've seen them, not having a sound sleep.
But habituated to. See, the minute you start sleeping pills, it is actually addictive.
Yeah,
So over a period of time, you are dependent on it for you to be able to
yeah,
get sleep. Yeah.
yeah. But I think after 60, there's some, after 60, I don't know, I've seen so many individuals, they have problem getting a sound sleep. So what advice you would give to
By the way, I'm 61.
them?
So yeah,
One
I
thing I think
people
we can tell them is to do yoga nidra, right? Before they sleep. No.
Vinedra, before sleep may not help get sleep unless you do it with that intention in mind. Typically, it recharges you, and the thing is, you'll sleep less if you do yoga nidra daily. If you do
Okay.
deep meditative exercise and yoga nidra, your sleep duration, if it is earlier 7 or 8 hours, can probably come down to 5 or 6 hours, because that's enough, because you're doing those other practices which helps. So like a yogi can probably not sleep at all also. I mean, because if he's yoga nidra all the time, if he's in deep meditative state, so sleep and wake state is kind of blurs.
Hmm.
And so that's how they've slowed down their heart rate. They take less deeper and less number of breaths, so your body comes into a kind of a state of uh, uh, harmony with the environment around you. And so it's a different it's totally a different dimension of living. But day to day in the city working, you can still sleep less if you are doing those practices, and if you live your day in a kind of half meditative state where you're detached, you're not attached to outcomes and your roles. The more detached you get, doesn't mean you're not working, it doesn't mean you're not doing your duty, you're not carrying out your responsibilities, but you can do it in a detached manner where the effort belongs to you, the result belongs to the divine. So that takes care of it, and you'll find that things are manifesting
Wow. That's
more
so beautiful. Efforts belong to you and results belong to divine. I think we forget it. We are like, efforts also belong to us and results definitely belong to us.
So you don't get carried away with achievements or uh,
Yeah.
depressed with failures. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you become more equal with equanimity. You handle anything.
Yeah. And I think so, if you even keep this thought in mind or keep this sentence in mind that efforts belong to you, results belong to divine, then you will not be attached to results too. And then you can give your 100% because you have given what you wanted to do. And now it's in the hand of universe to give
Absolutely.
you what, universe wants.
You
Yeah.
live like that. You need less sleep, and your sleep will be deep, refreshing,
Yeah.
totally. So you don't have to remember, oh, I've got only 5 hours sleep, I have to go back to sleep. No, it doesn't matter. If your
Yeah.
body is asking you to sleep, find a space and surrender to it. But otherwise, you can continue.
Yeah, because today I got up at 9. I slept at 1 and I got up at 9.
Mm.
And then I went out. When I came back, I was so sleepy, but I was not letting myself sleep. I don't want to sleep because already I've slept for 8 hours. So, but then I just fell asleep and I was feeling so much better. So I think I shouldn't, I shouldn't go on preconceived notions.
Not the hours which matter. So
Yeah.
let's say a night shift worker sleeps 8 hours during the day is not the same as you sleeping 5 hours at night at the right time. That is
Yeah.
a time between, let's say, 11 to 3:30. 11 to 3 is core sleep time.
Hmm.
Must
Hmm.
be asleep. There's no question of doing anything else. And if you're doing anything else, probably once, twice, thrice a month, not a week. So it's a cheat day and you're denying your body what it requires. But still, because of our social pressures and commitments and or travel or stuff like that, you're forced to do it, right? So that means a person who does that is a person who prioritizes their health. If
Hmm.
you don't prioritize your health, anything goes. It really doesn't matter. And then you're willing to go for hospitals, doctors, medicines, and stuff like that. That's one type of living. All right. So if that's the route one wants to take, that's fine. But I want to live without medicines and run a full marathon at the age of 100. So that's
Wow.
my personal goal, a full marathon at the age of 100. That means body is fit, mind, emotion, everything is working, right? At that time. Our body can live up to 120. The design of our body is 120 years. So there are
120 years. So,
years, yeah. Some people push beyond, some people much less, but basically the design is there. So if you take care of the machine, it'll take care of you. You don't take care of the machine, it'll break down sometime or the other. So and you have to be prepared for that. So you could live without medicines for a very long time and experience all the magic which the universe is going to manifest. Because imagine 30 years back, could we do what we are doing now? Right? So this was not there, but today we take it for granted. And probably 20 years hence, I could be talking to somebody from who's living in Mars because of Elon Musk, right? So that's possible. Science is
yeah,
good to a point.
absolutely.
You can honeymoon, not abroad, just space in another planet. So that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So many things are happening in the world, which is magical. And I like to experience as much as possible. So basically, which is why I chosen longevity as one of my key goals. Longevity with active life, where you take care of yourself and provide for others for as long as possible.
Very inspiring, sir. Well, can you share some success stories or testimonials from your program participants that highlight the transformative effects of your sleep techniques?
So you were saying just a couple of questions back about you know s- tell me about some. I think you actually brought that up. It reminded me of a person who didn't sleep for like 20 plus years. Okay. And he was a policeman, right? And he's been shunted around in different places. And so, because of work, he kind of lost the sleep habit. And then over a period of time, he's like a zombie, literally. Okay. So, it's very painful for him because some of this particular person within the third day or something, because we have the science of sleep where they understand how sleep is designed to rejuvenate and refresh us. And that design cannot be changed because this machine was made by some designer, right? We cannot say this car should run on helium or whatever, if it's a petrol car, or a petrol car running on diesel. Each has its own, requirements. So the human body has certain requirements. If we just follow that, things will fall into place. We don't have to, it's not rocket science. It's something which I mean, tens of thousands of years people have done. The sleep itself has evolved over a million years. Every, Earth is 4 billion years old, 4.3 billion years. Okay, 100,000 years ago, modern man developed. 10,000 years is like civilized society types. And it's only the last 200 years we have light, 150 years or something. After we have light, artificial light, right? Where nighttime, you could forget it's night and it's day because some people work in a building where the lights are so bright, they don't know whether it's day or night, right? So the body is not able to recognize whether it's day or night. And because of which it's got confused. So that cycle, that clock, internal clock is malfunctioning. And once you understand its importance and you start making the shifts in your small shifts, but these are choices that you have and you can take. When you do that, you find that the body is finding its rhythm, it's falling into place, and sleep is falling into place. So, one was this guy, he was because why it stood out, actually, something you said triggered a thought of that man. Okay, and then there was another person who started working from the age of 16 or 17 because a family situation. So, and he educated himself while he was working. So he took up this insurance sales or something like that, right? Which they can do from any age, and which involved a lot of travel. And within 4 5 years, he grew very fast in his company because he was worked very hard. And used to travel at meetings would be at night at people's home, right? You're selling insurance or wealth management things, so they come when the clients are free. So sleep was not an option for him. I mean, he just chose to postpone sleep. So as long as he could work, he'll work. When he needed to catch something, shut eye, he would. So by the time he turned 23 or 24, he got married, early marriage, got married, and within, not due to the marriage, he had grown to AVP president, AVP level. And during a meeting, he crashed. I mean, he just collapsed. And
Oh,
this guy was taken to hospital. Then they found various treatments happened. Finally, psychiatric treatment happened because he became almost like bipolar and suicidal. He had gone to that point as
oh,
mind was troubling because mind was totally confused. It had
mm,
deprived it of all its nourishment, right? When you
mm,
sleep, the intercellular spaces between the pathways of the brain clears up and flushes out. I mean, it actually flushes out all the debris that we collect every day. And that was not done. When you
mm.
don't do it, your mind goes mad, literally mad, right?
Yeah.
Because it is just imagine a kitchen, working in a kitchen daily and not cleaning the dishes and allowing it to pile up. What will happen in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? At what point will that kitchen just implode? Literally, right? So that's typically what happens to human brain of a person who doesn't sleep, who refuses to give in to the required sleep that his body needs. So that this guy, luckily, I mean, he came in the first batch itself, and
Okay.
he came for all my programs. He stayed through the whole, every single program he signed up for, and the annual thing and all that. And he's still in touch with me, and he's so happy his family is back because his family had broken before he had joined me. The marriage also broke. He had a child. She was pregnant. It broke, and then he didn't see his child because I mean they could not deal with him because
Mm,
of his temper, and I mean he didn't know what was happening, right? So you can't
mm,
blame. So over a period of time, his medication has been decreased. It's like on maintenance dose. So for that is for his psychiatric issues and kind of by almost bipolar he became. So he's just on maintenance. He's back at work. His family is back together. So it's we we don't realize how much what all aspects of our life it affects. We just
yeah.
think that I'm more responsible, I'm putting 2 hours more work, I'm doing this because I want to build this. Body I'll
Mm,
take care of later. You postpone it. And you're lucky if you're alive when you realize and you can correct it. Those who are like my friend who died didn't even know that this was a cause. So
mm,
that's why I become kind of evangelistic about this and try and talk in as many forums as possible about the priority that you need to give yourself to your own health and well-being because
mm,
nobody else can do it. Anything else you can delegate. Even
mm,
money making you can delegate, but you
mm,
can't delegate your health to anybody else.
mm.
That only you can take care of.
So thank you so much for sharing those remarkable stories. And you mentioned earlier that you have a personal goal to run a full marathon.
Yeah.
So how does this goal relate to your work with the sleep and longevity? So, and what message do you hope to convey through it?
Yeah, the message I'd like to convey is be active first. Okay. So if I have to run a full marathon at the age of 100, that means I need to keep in touch with running. I cannot suddenly wake up at the 99th year and say, okay, now I'm going to run a full marathon. It's not going to happen. So I need to keep my body fit and so that it keeps serving. Your bones should be strong, muscles should be, strong and resilient, or everything in your body should be working well. So if you prioritize that, then you're alive and you do other things. If you don't have health, nothing else is there. Like Steve Jobs, the height of his success, I mean, and he was seeing more success. This work was going to bring far more success, but he's not there to see it, right?
Yeah.
He went early because of. So these are things that we don't realize that we have a expiry date
Mm.
and we can prepone it or postpone it due to our
Yeah.
own actions. So we cannot blame it on God and say, God decided to take him at that day. It's your habits, it's how you lived your life.
Yeah.
So we need to pay attention to that because this is only one life, right?
True.
So if you prioritize it, then God will prioritize it for you. Otherwise, he'll say, you are not understanding the gift of what I have given and I can take it away.
Yeah. So that was truly motivating, sir. So for those interested in joining the Deep Sleep program, what can they expect in terms of the structure, content, support provided throughout the program?
Yeah. So as I said, we've now made because everybody has lack of time. Okay. Everybody wants a cure like in an instant, which is why you take pills in the first
Yeah,
place. Okay. So we have a 5 day boot camp, which is
five
online.
days bootcamp.
Yeah, which is 1 hour a day for 5 days. And in that, you learn the theory of science of sleep, what you can do, understand what you've been doing so far, what shifts you need to do, and so on. So your mind gets answers to what you need to do. Okay, what you've done and what you need to do to get where you want to go. Because at the core is first your purpose, like you said, no, like if you have a life purpose and you think about because of that you concentrate all your energy towards that, then automatically everything else is a subsect of that, right? So you know that this is your destination for which you need to have all these resources. So you realize that your health is primary and you have to take charge of it, and then you make the choices. Like I had, I'll give an example. I'm just going, a guy who was working for the US timing, IT guy working for
Okay.
US timing. So he worked the whole night and slept during the day, but it was not working for him. His mind was foggy, he was not alert, he was making mistakes, he was losing contracts, and things were going wrong. So he realized that he need, and luckily he had met me. So that's okay. This is a core. This is where I'm going wrong. But how do I correct it? Because I need to make money. At the same time, I need to have my health so that I can continue to make money. And so we arrived at a why when he realized 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. is a core sleep time and organs get repaired, the brain gets refreshed because that's a time. It has nothing to do with your schedule. It's about the sunrise and sunset and that circadian rhythm clicks with your internal clock and it starts doing things. It's a very sophisticated machinery, this design. Okay, we the whole universe is connected. And that means you and me, anybody, all we are living in a soup. Literally, we are living in a soup. Okay, all our atoms are freely moving between each other. Okay, but we think we are like one individual identity, which is moving mountains and
Mm.
making this thing happen and that thing happen and so on. But the fact is, there is a we don't dictate when we breathe. We can dictate breathing if you've learned that, or digestion, excretion. All of that are automatically happening. Perspiration, circulation. Look at all the functions which are happening within and it happens precisely at the right time for the right even quantity, like how much insulin it should produce, it knows how much melatonin it should produce, it knows. And so which organ produces when and what are the triggers which make it happen.
Mm.
All of that is already pre-programmed inside, but since we don't follow we've broken the programming and try to be so intelligent that we decide when we are going to do things.
Mm.
So that has gone out of sync. So when you realize that there is a design which the earth works with, the sun works with, and our body responds and works with. Once he realized that, he said, I will work the evening 7 to 11,
Okay.
go to sleep, and then wake up again at this, and then catch up in the afternoon sleep. Because you can
Nice.
do biphasic sleep. You can
Yeah.
have 3 hours in the afternoon and 4 hours here. So you're done. Your 7 hours is done. 7, 8 hours. So this way he redesigned his lifestyle in a manner that he
Mm.
and within a month or two, he was like back to full form, and he was so it's possible to learn that in those 5 days, but in the 21-day challenge, you're actually implementing it and you're seeing how others are doing. So this peer group starts helping each other because one person's experience, you learn something from that. And when you share your experience, someone else learns something from that. And together, it becomes a powerful mode of learning, finding answers for yourself, finding solutions to how to deal with your life challenges.
Mm.
So first is 5 day, then 21-day, then
Yeah.
it goes. Yeah, you could have a 6 month course where you can become a trainer yourself. So I've had multiple such courses, and we have one-to-ones, we have annual membership program. All of this is possible.
So that sounds like a life-changing program. Thank you so much for sharing your programs with us. So many people might wonder if they need any special equipment or supplements to follow the program. So can you clarify this?
Yeah, Bhavita, our body produces all the chemicals we need. It doesn't need, it needs food, yes. It needs water, it needs air,
Mm.
but other than that, doesn't need any chemicals. So if you habituate it to a chemical, you are a prisoner for that for the rest of your life and pay the consequences. Every chemical has a side effect. Anything, even calcium, vitamin C, or I mean, vitamin C, vitamin D, whatever you think it's a, or multivitamin products. Okay. So all of them are chemicals, they're factory processed.
Mm.
So if you can eat even food, if you're buying factory processed food, it's as good as chemical. But if you're buying, fresh produce, and you have a garden at home, you have the luxury of having that, nothing like it. But
Wow.
otherwise, you buy fresh produce from a place you trust, where there's less chemical incidents or whatever. So you choose from the right markets, the right. You don't have to go for those fancy, expensive organic. I'm not suggesting organic at all, because so what is called organic may not be really 100% organic. So you, that's why I said your own produce. Like in pots, you can grow even an apartment, many of the vegetables that you use daily. So you work with soil. A lot of us don't work with soil. We live in air conditioned homes, air conditioned cars, air conditioned offices, and we are completely cut off from the earth.
Yeah.
That is a terrible place to live,
Yeah.
because it's a plastic life.
Mm.
So that you'll have to get out of that plastic life, the artificial life. Depend more and more on natural resources. Depend more and more on how to, what do you call it? Reduce your footprint, into ecological footprint of using more and more artificial things, because that's the most responsible. Sorry, I didn't silence this phone. Other phone I had switched off. This I had not silenced. Sorry, you can cut that. Okay.
That's
Yeah. So coming back to this thing of medicines or supplements, uh, go as much as possible. If you are already on it, don't stop it without your doctor's permission first. Okay, because I don't know why you're on it and what consequences will have if you suddenly stop on your own without your doctor's advice. So I would not prescribe that. But if you voluntarily taken some stuff and you are thinking that's good for you, find it in natural foods. Find the equivalent in natural foods, or natural, like exercise itself gives so many right chemicals for you. Just exercising, gymming, running, walking,
so
playing a
okay.
game.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if I talk to you about improving sleep habits, So
Yeah.
in this, it's exercising, running, jogging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to use your body, your muscle, your bones,
yeah,
because it's meant for using. Remember, we came from monkeys, right? So climbing trees, hanging from trees, these
yeah,
are natural. I mean, that's why the design of this body,
yeah.
not designed to sit in a box chair, in a box
Mm,
car, in a box, eating
mm,
out of a box. You know, we're literally
yeah.
living a boxed in
A
life.
robotic life, yeah.
We have to get out of
But
that.
nowadays, yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but nowadays, lifestyle of so many people, it's like this only. They get up, they go for work, and they're in front of their computers 9 or 10 hours, or either driving or going for meetings, coming back, going out, having food, drinking, and socializing. So it's just, this is the norm nowadays.
Yeah.
So modern lifestyle. So how can we incorporate, your learnings into this, into our lifestyle?
Suppose somebody is living a life where 9, 10 hours, they're in a chair in front of the computer
Yeah.
in an office. So even sitting in a chair, there is different ways of sitting. You can slouch, we can sit erect, straight. So
Yeah.
we can, put our arms behind and stretch a bit. You can,
Yeah.
within the lifestyle you're living in, still find movement. Okay, you have to move. Your body has to move. Only then it doesn't have to happen only in the gym time of half an hour or 1 hour. It can happen through the day. If you're going down 2 floors, take the
Mm,
stairs. Don't take the lift. So if you're going to a store which is next street, walk to that store. Don't take the car. So there are many ways that simple things that you do on a daily basis just to keep yourself active. And then if you're lucky enough to have a dedicated hour for exercise, fantastic. And that exercise, I mean, I'm not putting down gymming, if nothing else, okay. But if you can do other, like I believe more in calisthenics, believe more in games. You play a game because
mm,
you interact with people, you move, you throw things, so there's so much more happening than just building a set of muscles in a gym in front of a mirror. Okay.
mm.
So that's really the core of it. That is social experience, connecting with the earth, connecting. So do it more and more naturally, and the way we were doing earlier, not in this modern plastic era. Go back pre-plastic, so to say, to a time when things were more real. Not
So thank you so much, Ignatius. This has been quite an enlightening conversation. So for our audience who's interested in learning more or joining the Deep Sleep program, we'll be sharing the details at the end of this episode with you. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Ignatius, for sharing your insights with us today. Your stories be quite motivating and inspiring. If you want to know more about Deep Sleep program, you can check our links that we've shared below. And until next time, stay well and prioritize your sleep. Goodbye.
Bhavita, I'd like to hear a little more about you before you sign off. I didn't have
Okay,
time
about
to
me?
ask about you.
Okay, so yeah, I'll tell you. I'm an MC. I work with a lot of corporates.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I started this in 2012. And yeah, so I've worked with a lot of celebrities too, Shahid Kapoor, Pasha Baku, Sonakshi Sinha, then Ranveer Singh, then I worked with Alia Bhatt. So yeah, so I work with all these celebrities and I host events and team building activities for a lot of corporates. And now I want to advise, you know, young people how to, how to be a great anchor and how to learn anchoring skills and make money out of it. So it's a great profession to be in. You don't require any technical skills. All you need is a lot of confidence and entertaining and engaging your audiences. So I'll teach you all that, and then you can then you can be an anchor, an MC, you can work with a lot of corporate companies. Weddings is such a big market. They need entertainers for their guests. Such a big market, and there's no commitment. It's just a day, it's just few hours commitment. You go, you perform, you pay your money, you come back. So there's so many people who want to make that extra bucks apart from the business or job they are in. So with MCing, you can definitely do that. So I want to enlighten students, young people, people who are also working in corporates about this. They can easily become an MC, and they can start their career. I think first they should start as a part-time, and then they can, if they feel they are getting more events, they can leave and get into full-time. So I've been doing it full-time from the last 12 years, and it's been amazing. So yeah, so I thought that I'll start my mentoring and teach people how to become an MC.
Awesome.
So this is what I started with my
a
first.
month ago, a friend's sister came and asked me how to become an MC and so on.
Oh, okay.
That is the person who works in an organization that I consult with.
All right.
So I know yesterday I attended an event where they trained some 10 public speakers in public speaking. So
yeah. It's a lucrative profession, sir.
Correct. So this is a very growing area, and I think a lot of people are interested in it because of media, easy access to media, and you can become famous very soon. So
yeah, so in events industry, whether it's a wedding event or it's a corporate event or concert, they need an MC. Every event need an MC.
Correct.
So MC is like an MC or anchor is not, it's not like a profession that'll be taken or eaten by artificial intelligence. They always need MCs to entertain audience. Robots can never do that. They can't form that human connection with people. So it'll always stay. So that's why I encourage, youngsters who are, who love engaging audiences to definitely pursue this.
Awesome, Bhavita. Good. Best wishes for you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Nice talking to you. It was great having you here. Thank you so much for giving us your time, sir. And I would definitely go through your program. 5-day boot camp challenge. I would definitely want to take that on.
Please do. Yeah. I'd love to hear your review and how it affects your life after that. Because I just love the changes which happen to people because they discover life literally. They see the colors in the plants or you're alive, right? Your mind is not
more observant.
Yeah, your mind is not foggy anymore. It's much clearer.
Yeah.
And that's the core of this. So though it's a sleep program, it's basically how to stay awake program. Yeah, but because sleep is a problem, we take it up as a sleep problem. So that's
and many people don't understand how critical it is to sleep peacefully, for your productivity, for a happy life.
Yes.
Deep sleep is
fully, to enjoy life.
life.
There's so much out there. So we can enjoy life to have the energy and the clarity to do it. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I'll meet you in your program. Bye.
You too.